The battlefield was silent now. Smoke drifted through the ruins of the alien city, turning the sunlight into dull orange haze. Shattered towers leaned like broken teeth, and every few seconds the ground trembled from distant explosions. Lieutenant Marcus Hale moved carefully through the wreckage. His armor was scratched and burned, his rifle half empty. He had lost contact with his unit hours ago. Now he was alone, just another survivor in a dying world. His visor showed fading power signals, heat traces flickering between rubble. Most were already cold. Then one faint reading blinked, alive but weak. Marcus frowned. "Could be one of ours," he muttered. He followed the signal through a collapsed hallway, stepping over fallen steel beams and cracked alien glass. When he reached the end, he saw something unexpected. It wasn't a human. It was a Yelthari. The alien girl lay trapped beneath part of a metal support beam. Her armor was elegant and sharp-edged, glowing faintly with silver blue lines that pulsed like veins. Her pale violet skin shimmered under the light, and her white hair was tangled and dusty. Her breathing was shallow. One hand twitched as Marcus approached. Her eyes snapped open, golden, bright, and full of fear. When she saw the human insignia on his armor, she hissed and tried to lift her weapon. But her hand trembled, too weak to aim. Marcus raised both hands slowly. "Easy," he said through the external speaker. "I'm not here to fight." Her translator clicked on with static. The alien voice came out sharp but shaking. "Liar, humans always finish what they start." Marcus crouched beside her, scanning the beam. It was heavy but movable. Beneath it, a jagged shard of metal was buried in her shoulder, glowing faintly red. It looked dangerous. He tapped his wrist screen. "That thing's hot," he said. "If I don't pull it out, you'll bleed out. If I do, you might—" "Don't," she cried, eyes wide. "If you pull it out, I'll scream." Marcus froze. The translator made her words sound strange, half threat, half plea. He frowned. "You'll scream? Why?" Her breathing quickened. "It's not just metal. It's a failsafe shard. My armor, if the shard moves, it will detonate." Marcus leaned closer, examining the wound. He could see it now. Thin threads of alien circuitry connected the shard to her armor. A bomb trigger designed to destroy her body rather than let her be captured. "Whoever made this," Marcus whispered, "had trust issues." She closed her eyes, trembling. "We were told humans take prisoners and cut them apart for study." Marcus sighed. "Do I look like I've got a lab?" "You're lucky I found you before the drones did." The girl opened her eyes again, staring at him with suspicion and curiosity. "Why help me?" she asked quietly. "You are my enemy." "Maybe," Marcus said, grabbing his toolkit. "But I'm an engineer first. I don't like seeing things break. Especially people." He placed a small stabilizer under the beam and activated it. The beam lifted slightly with a hum. The alien gasped as the pressure eased from her side. Marcus spoke gently. "Name?" She hesitated. "Lyra." "All right, Lyra, I'm Marcus. Don't move." Using his armor's mechanical arm, he carefully scanned the shard. Data streamed across his visor. Energy signature unstable, micro-detonator attached. He bit his lip. "Yeah, this thing's nasty," he said. "Your tech is centuries ahead of ours, but it's wired like a paranoid trap." She almost smiled. "We don't lose easily," he nodded. "Neither do we." For the next hour, Marcus worked slowly, sweat dripping under his helmet. Lyra watched him, her golden eyes following every move. At times, her breathing stopped when his tools got too close to the shard. To keep her calm, Marcus talked. Small things, harmless things. About Earth's oceans, about the smell of rain, about how humans used to fight each other before they ever looked at the stars. Lyra listened in silence. Then she said softly, "We were told your kind destroyed your own world before you reached ours." Marcus smiled bitterly. "That's not wrong. But we learned to rebuild. We always rebuild." Something in his voice made her quiet. When the stabilizer beeped, Marcus stepped back. "Okay, I can't remove the shard, but I can block the signal." "How?" "By confusing it," he said, pulling out a small energy cell. "Your armor expects pain and panic if it detects movement. I'll feed it calm signals instead. Heartbeat, breathing, normal vitals. It'll think you're fine." Lyra looked doubtful. "You can do that?" "Humans are good at improvising," he said with a small grin. She tried to laugh but winced from the pain. "If this fails—" "I know," Marcus said. "We both go boom." He worked quickly, attaching the energy cell and rerouting a few cables through his suit's interface. Sparks jumped. The air smelled of burnt metal. Lyra gritted her teeth as her armor flickered, the lines of light dimming, then stabilizing. After a tense minute, Marcus leaned back. Done, the failsafe's sleeping now, Lyra blinked. You did it? For now. But we need to move before the system wakes up again. He extended a hand. She stared at it, then slowly reached out. Her fingers were cold against his gloves. He pulled her up gently, supporting her weight. She stumbled but managed to stand. They began moving through the ruins together. Every step echoed through the empty halls. Outside, the sky rumbled with thunder and fire. Distant ships battled among the clouds, streaks of plasma lighting the horizon. Marcus glanced at her. Anyone else from your squad alive? She shook her head. We came to hold this sector. Humans hit us harder than we expected. We thought you were weak, Marcus smirked. Most people do. After a while, they reached a half-collapsed control room. He guided her to a corner and helped her sit. Rest, he said. I'll see if I can contact command. Lyra looked around the shattered place, glowing panels, broken screens, the faint hum of lost power. This world was once full of light, she murmured. Now it is only noise and dust. Marcus didn't answer. He was trying to repair his comm link, rerouting frequencies. Static filled his ears. Nothing worked. Then suddenly a faint voice broke through. Lieutenant Hale, do you copy? This is command. Extraction in progress, ETA 1 hour. Marcus almost laughed. Copy that. I'm not alone down here. Sending coordinates. The voice hesitated. You have a friendly? Something like that. He turned to Lyra, who was watching him carefully. Help's coming. Her expression darkened. Human help? Yes, she clenched her fists. They will kill me. Marcus hesitated. Not if I say otherwise. You cannot stop your soldiers, she said bitterly. Your kind fears what it does not control. Marcus crouched beside her. Then I'll prove them wrong. She stared at him, silent. The glow from her armor reflected in his visor. 2 bright golden eyes meeting 2 tired human ones. Outside, the rumbling grew louder. The air shook with incoming dropships, Lyra whispered. If you pull it out, I'll scream. I meant it. Marcus smiled faintly. You don't need to scream anymore. He stood guard by the doorway as the dust swirled. Somewhere in the distance he heard mechanical footsteps, not human ones. Lyra's eyes widened. Those are Yelthari drones. Your side's coming too? She nodded. They will kill us both. Marcus cursed under his breath. Figures. He gripped his rifle, checking the last power cell. Guess we'll just have to survive together a little longer. The alien girl met his gaze and for the first time didn't look afraid. Then we fight, she said quietly. Marcus nodded. Together. The ruins echoed with the sound of approaching machines. Smoke and light filled the air again. But this time, 2 enemies stood side by side, human and alien, bound by a fragile thread of trust born from pain, courage, and something neither of their species fully understood yet. The ruined city groaned under the weight of its own destruction. Smoke from distant fires twisted across the orange sky, and every step Marcus took crunched over broken metal and glass. Lyra stumbled beside him, her armor flickering slightly, the stabilizer Marcus had rigged keeping the failsafe dormant. Above them, the air roared with engines. Dropships and drones patrolled, scanning for survivors. Marcus knew they had no time. Every second they lingered meant discovery and death. Stay low, Marcus whispered, his voice calm but urgent. We move fast and we move quiet. Lyra followed, adjusting her balance carefully. I don't understand your species, she muttered. You run into danger willingly, yet you speak as if it is normal. Marcus grinned faintly. Experience. You learn to survive by refusing to die. Her golden eyes studied him, curiosity mixed with suspicion. Survival. Or pride. Marcus shrugged. Both, maybe. Humans like to test themselves. The hall they moved through was half collapsed, ceilings dangling, cables sparking dangerously. Marcus reached out, steadying Lyra as she nearly tripped over a chunk of concrete. Her armor hissed with each movement, warning systems flickering faintly. I am not used to being helped, Lyra said, her voice tight. You're welcome, Marcus replied lightly. It's not charity. It's tactical. She glanced at him, a mixture of amusement and disbelief on her face. Tactical. Helping an enemy? Exactly. They moved in silence for several minutes. The hum of distant machinery was louder now, Yelthari drones scanning, their sensors piercing the smoke-filled streets. Marcus could see the faint blue beams slicing through the haze, searching for heat signatures. Too many, Lyra whispered. We will not survive if we are spotted. Marcus surveyed their surroundings. Then we don't get spotted. We use cover, timing, and your armor's stealth field. She frowned. My stealth is partially offline because of the shard. I fixed the shard temporarily. That's enough to hide for now, Marcus said. Trust me. She hesitated, then nodded. Her hand brushed against the stabilizer he had rigged on her shoulder. If this fails, we die together? Marcus shook his head. We survive together. They crawled through the wreckage of a broken plaza, ducking under collapsed beams and shattered walls. Lyra's movements grew steadier, the fear in her eyes slowly replaced by cautious trust. Marcus spoke softly as they moved. Where did you come from? The Yelthari cruiser orbiting the northern sector, Lyra said. Our mission was to secure the planet. Your species interfered, Marcus nodded grimly. Yeah, humans tend to do that. Lyra looked at him sharply. You are not like the others. Lucky me, he said with a faint smile. The streets narrowed as they approached what once had been a central plaza. Now twisted metal and rubble created a maze. Marcus led the way, using his visor to detect weak points in the structure. Suddenly, a small explosion echoed behind them. Dust and sparks filled the air, and the sound of approaching machinery grew louder. Drones, Marcus said. They've spotted us. Move! Lyra gritted her teeth. I can fight, but not like before. Marcus handed her a compact pulse pistol. Better than nothing. Cover me if I get too close to them. The two ran, ducking into a partially destroyed building. The interior was dark, corridors jagged with debris and wires hung like dangerous vines. They paused to catch their breath. Lyra's armor flickered, dim light pulsing along the lines. The shard. It reacts to my fear, she said, voice trembling. If I panic, it will try to trigger. Marcus nodded. Then don't panic! She stared at him, eyes wide. Do humans feel fear? All the time, he admitted. We just keep going anyway. Her gaze lingered on him, and for a moment the war between their species felt far away. A low hum vibrated the floor. Marcus knew it. Another patrol approaching. He pushed Lyra behind a collapsed wall, crouched and activated a small EMP pulse from his toolkit. Sparks flew from the approaching drone's sensors. It wobbled, confused, and Marcus seized the moment. Go, he whispered. Lyra moved, her flickering armor blending with shadows. Together they navigated the maze of ruins. Every corner brought danger. Every echo could mean discovery. But step by step they adapted, learning to move as a team. As they passed a broken wall, Marcus glanced at her. Your species fears us because of our stubbornness. You think we are reckless. Lyra's brow furrowed. You are reckless, but also persistent. Humans do not give up easily. Marcus smiled faintly. That's true, and apparently you're learning that firsthand. They found shelter in what remained of a collapsed observation tower. From the top, they could see the distant flames and burning ships of the battlefield. Lyra leaned against the railing, breathing heavily. You saved me, she said quietly. I should have screamed. You didn't, Marcus said, and that's what matters. She looked at him with a mixture of wonder and disbelief. Humans care in strange ways, Marcus shrugged. We're complicated. They settled in the tower for a moment of rest. Marcus checked her armor systems, tweaking the stabilizer to ensure the failsafe remained dormant. She watched silently, fascinated by his skill. I don't know if I can ever trust a human fully, Lyra said. You don't have to fully trust me, Marcus replied. Just enough to survive today. Minutes passed, and then the distant sound of engines grew louder. Marcus peered through the broken walls. A Yelthari patrol was approaching. Time to move again, he whispered. Lyra gritted her teeth and nodded. Together? Together, he confirmed. They slid down the outside of the tower, careful to stay out of sight. Marcus led Lyra close behind. Their movements had become synchronized, a human and alien, learning to rely on one another. The patrol moved past them, unaware. Marcus exhaled slowly. Good, that was close. Lyra's hand brushed against his arm. Humans are strange. You fight, yet you protect. You kill, yet you save. Marcus smiled faintly. We have to. Otherwise none of us survive. They moved through the rubble until they reached a partially intact building. Marcus spotted a control console inside, flickering weakly with power. If I can get this online, he said, we might contact your side. And ours. Maybe we can call a temporary ceasefire. Lyra tilted her head. Ceasefire? With humans? Not with all humans, Marcus admitted. Just enough to survive. They entered the building. Marcus worked quickly, connecting his suit interface to the console. Sparks flew and the lights flickered on. Through the translator, Lyra tried to patch in a signal to her command while Marcus attempted to reach human forces. Hours passed. Neither succeeded completely, but they managed to send faint distress signals. Both sides received them, a fragile thread of hope. Lyra glanced at Marcus. You'd risked your life for me. For an enemy? Marcus shrugged. I told you. It's tactical, but maybe it's more than that. She studied him, eyes golden and curious. Perhaps humans are not the monsters our histories claim. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. And maybe Yelthari are not invincible, just scared sometimes. The distant sounds of battle continued, but in the tower, the two enemies rested. Side by side, human and alien, they shared a fragile peace. Tomorrow, Marcus said, we survive together. Lyra nodded, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. Tomorrow, she echoed. The sun set behind the ruined city, casting long shadows across the twisted metal. Smoke swirled in the air and fire painted the sky orange and red. But amidst the chaos, a human and an alien had found something unexpected. Trust, understanding, and a chance to survive even in a world that seemed determined to destroy them. And for the first time, Lyra felt that humans were not just dangerous, but remarkable. The night over the ruined city was alive with fire and thunder. Smoke swirled in the orange-red sky as distant ships battled in orbit. Inside the shattered streets, Marcus and Lyra moved carefully, their steps silent on broken metal and dust. Every shadow held danger. Every echo could bring death. Lyra's armor flickered faintly, the stabilizer Marcus had rigged keeping the failsafe dormant. But every movement made her tense. She could still feel the shard beneath her shoulder, ready to react if fear or pain overcame her. Marcus crouched beside her behind a collapsed wall. We're close, he whispered. Command says extraction is on its way. Human and Yelthari forces are inbound. We just need to hold out a little longer. Her golden eyes narrowed. And if they arrive and see us together? Then we survive together, Marcus said. Same as before. She glanced at him, a mix of doubt and determination in her expression. Your kind is difficult to understand. I do not know if I can trust anyone yet. I trust you in this moment. Marcus smiled faintly. That's all that matters for now. Suddenly, a low hum vibrated through the ruins. The sound of drones, larger and more dangerous than the last patrol, approached from the west. Marcus swore under his breath. They found us, Lyra whispered. Not yet, he corrected. We move before they realize it. He led her through a narrow corridor formed by collapsed buildings, shadows hiding their presence. The streets ahead were littered with jagged debris and burning wreckage. Marcus's visor highlighted heat signatures moving in patterns, patrol drones searching systematically, scanning every corner. Follow me closely, Marcus instructed. Step where I step, move where I move, Lyra nodded. Her hands gripped her pulse pistol tightly, though she mostly relied on Marcus to guide her. They had learned to move together, like partners dancing around danger. They reached a partially intact building. Inside, Marcus saw a control console blinking weakly. He could try to send one final signal, a chance for both sides to see they were not enemies in this moment. Cover me, he said. I'll try to contact both human and Yelthari forces. Maybe we can call a temporary ceasefire. Lyra crouched beside him. And if they do not listen? Marcus shrugged. Then we improvise. That's what humans do. He worked quickly, connecting his suit interface to the console. Sparks flew from the damaged circuits and the lights flickered on. Through the translator, Lyra patched in a weak signal to her command while Marcus tried to reach human forces. The hum of approaching drones grew louder, closer, more threatening. Marcus's hands moved with precision, rerouting power, stabilizing signals, and keeping Lyra safe. Minutes felt like hours. Lyra watched him fascinated. The human engineer's focus, his calm under pressure, his willingness to risk everything for an enemy. It was unlike anything she had been taught to expect. Done, Marcus said finally, leaning back. I've sent a signal. Both sides should see us. Now we wait, Lyra exhaled slowly. Humans, you do strange things. You fight, but you also protect. You kill, but you save. Marcus smiled faintly. We do what we must. Sometimes that means helping an enemy instead of finishing them. They crouched behind the console as the drones entered the building. The creatures scanned the area, their blue sensors slicing through the dim light. Marcus and Lyra held their breath completely still. The drones moved past them oblivious. When the last drone exited, Marcus exhaled. We're lucky, he muttered. Lyra glanced at him, golden eyes reflecting the dim glow of her armor. Perhaps humans are not as terrifying as I believed. Marcus chuckled. You'll still have stories to tell about us. The two of them waited in tense silence as distant engines roared closer. Dropships from both sides hovered above the ruins, scanning for survivors. Finally, the unmistakable hum of human extraction shuttles approached. Marcus's comlink crackled to life. Lieutenant Hale, coordinates confirmed. We see you. Hold position. Extraction ETA 5 minutes. He turned to Lyra. 5 minutes. We survive 5 more minutes. Her hand brushed against his arm, and for a moment the war between their species seemed to fade. If you pull it out, I will scream, she whispered. Marcus looked at her, determination in his eyes. We don't have a choice. The shard must come out. Trust me. She swallowed hard but nodded. Marcus examined the shard one last time. With careful hands, he began the removal process. Sparks flew, the armor flickered, and Lyra tensed. Then came the scream. It was loud, piercing, but not from pain. From fear, from the tension of what could have happened. Marcus kept his hand steady, continuing the work. Slowly, the shard came free. Lyra gasped, clutching her shoulder. The armor's light stabilized. The failsafe did not trigger. Marcus released her, leaning back, exhausted. It's done, he said. Lyra looked at him, disbelief in her golden eyes. You saved me. Just a human being doing what humans do, Marcus said with a faint smile. Outside, the sound of approaching shuttles grew louder. Human troops landed, quickly assessing the ruins. Then, unexpectedly, Yelthari forces arrived as well, cautiously surrounding the area. For a tense moment, neither side moved. Both armies were prepared to open fire. But Lyra stepped forward. Stop, she shouted in her own language, translator flickering. This human saved me. He is not my enemy. The Yelthari soldiers hesitated, then lowered their weapons. Marcus glanced at her, surprised. You just did that? I did, she said. He proved that humans can care, that they can be brave even for someone they are supposed to hate. The human commander approached cautiously. Marcus straightened. Sir, she's telling the truth, he said. We can extract her safely. No need for combat. The commander studied Lyra, then nodded. Understood. Cease fire for extraction. Keep it tight. As they were escorted to the extraction shuttles, Marcus and Lyra walked side by side. For the first time, the weight of war felt lighter, if only for a moment. In the shuttle, Lyra looked out the window at the burning city below. I do not understand your species, she said quietly. You fight with fire, yet your hearts are stronger than any weapon. Marcus chuckled softly. We have our moments, but so do you. That's why we survived today. Lyra smiled faintly. Perhaps. Humans are worthy of respect. And you, Marcus said, are worthy of survival. That's what matters. The shuttle lifted off, leaving the ruined world behind. The fires burned, but from above it looked almost beautiful, a testament to resilience, to survival, to the will to endure. Months later, the event was recorded in galactic history as the Scream Accord. It marked the first time humans and Yelthari had paused a battle long enough to acknowledge bravery, compassion, and trust across species. Marcus and Lyra never forgot that day. The human engineer and the alien girl who had once threatened to scream, they had survived together. They had proven that fear could be faced, danger could be defied, and that the human spirit could inspire even those who had been taught to hate it. And somewhere in the galaxy, a golden-eyed Yelthari would tell the story of the human who saved her, not with weapons, but with courage, skill, and the quiet strength of an unyielding heart. The universe was still dangerous. Wars would still rage, but in that moment, human and alien had glimpsed what was possible when empathy met determination. It was a small victory, but in the grand cosmos, even small victories could change everything.